which on YouTube, I think it's been watched a couple million times now. It amazes me that people still go back to that after all this time, because a lot of really good wrestling sure has been made in the last 19 years. I don't know what you need to go back to see that one for, but I do think part of
good art doesn't die. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, great performance, a great performance, man. And some of the moves that you were doing, then I was like, oh man, I don't know. Do you stretch in the morning when you wake up? How do you do some of the things that you were able to do? Like, how long did it take you to feel confident enough to do some of the creative moves that you started doing?
Part of the beauty of it, at least thinking about that clip that we just watched parts of there, that's arguably my most famous protege, Claudio Castagnoli, right? He was Cesaro for 11 years in the WWE. Having a guy like that who was so competent as a base underneath my flying really gave me the confidence to try things that with a smaller opponent who maybe could not catch, my 175 pounds coming flipping at you from any old direction. And over time, we just kind of built a confidence in each other that if he needed me to be somewhere, I could get my body there. And if I had to catch or rely on him to catch me and not kill me, he would be there. That trust takes time to build. And I often refer to him as my wrestling simpatico. I can't think of someone else like him where I often felt like we did not have to follow the notes that were exactly on the page. If we wanted to play a little jazz while we were out there, we could improvise. Even though, thinking about that match that you just showed there, Roosevelt, there was no margin for error. Some of those things were so incredibly risky that if we were just the tiniest bit off, I would have just been, dropped on my head or whatever. So we had something very unique. And I think back, if we had maybe 50 or 70 matches, whatever it was, how very fortunate I was to share the ring with him, not only when, I first met him in a warehouse in Zurich, Switzerland. This is long before I convinced him to move to the U.S. and train with me. Every chance I had to share the ring with him really was something very special. And I feel fortunate that I have a lot of students I feel that way about.
Hold up. Go back to what did you just say a few minutes ago? You convinced Cesaro to move from Switzerland to go to the United States to train with you?
That's right. So he left Switzerland to move here to train at my Wrestle Factory. So he had come over once prior to visit the U.S. with his then tag team partner, and they were in an early tag team tournament that I promoted. But then through repeated trips over to Europe, specifically to Switzerland and Germany, we just kind of kept working on him. Myself and Chris Hero, we kept working on him until eventually he applied for the green card. He did get selected, and then he moved here to Pennsylvania to train with me full time. And I still go out to lunch on that one. People often ask, like, really, you trained that guy? I was like, yeah, and I'm pretty proud of him.
Yeah, you ought to ask him for like an Amazon gift card for all your hard work. You know what I'm saying? That's awesome. Well, you just dropped, Cesaro's name, man. Who were some other people who trained with you or trained at your school that the fans might know?
Sure. So some of the people that I've trained either in part or in whole would be Eddie Kingston, Orange Cassidy, Alexa Bliss, Malachi Black, Drew Gulak, referee Bryce Remsburg. Last year, Lady Frost signed with AEW, and a bunch of others that you probably know. And then a whole bunch that, just the way it kind of works, only a handful are ever going to want to ply their trade up at the corporate level of wrestling. And then there's going to be several that they work only on the international circuit. And because the independent circuit, even here in the U.S., is so vast, easily there's more than 1,000 wrestlers I've trained that I would bet the majority of your audience they've never even heard of. That's just kind of the bell curve of it, I guess.